It's Jag Time in Robb's Garage. 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 Here we are again. Rotating the camera around and bringing it over here, and you can see that the Jag Special, as promised, is up on the jack stands, and disassembly has begun. Let me replace my mandolin in its place of honor. Hang it up over here. Why does he keep a mandolin stashed in the garage, you ask? Because I have a bunch of mandolins and I can do that kind of thing. So what we're doing right now is we're going to take the front suspension apart, and then we're going to start with the steering, take the steering apart, take the front suspension apart, and then remove the seats, and then we're going to get on with this business of getting this axle out of here. And I'm going to show you exactly what a gigantic pain in the ass it is to get it out with those two longitudinals welded in. You can get the axle in and out with those in there. It ain't easy, and it would be a whole lot easier if I could unbolt those and drop them out the bottom, and that's probably what's going to happen. So anyway, let's do some wrenching. Thus did we embrace the miracle of battery-powered tools. To catch these fantastic parts, I have an NGB hubcap retrieved from Henry's used auto parts. In Blackstone, Mass. Oops. Let's see that one. There it is. Some of these fasteners are 13 millimeter. Some of them are ½ inch. 13 millimeter fits. 13 millimeter fits ½ inch really well. ½ inch fits. Does not fit 13 millimeter quite so well. There's not enough clearance in the 13 millimeter to really cause a problem. Here we have, this is a Jetta universal that I kind of made myself. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, when I said that I had made this universal, here's what I was talking about. This is a mid-90s to early 2000s Volkswagen Jetta universal. The third gen Jetta, I think, second gen Jetta. Anyway, it's got this top part right here that's splined and slotted with a pinch bolt, and then it's got this part right here. As you can see, it's splined, but it's mated, and then it's a little hard to see, but it's staked right there. You can see where they smack it with a hammer, or some kind of a hammer or a staking tool or something like that. And that's what holds that in. So what I did was, because I needed another double-ended bolted universal, here's the original end with the original Volkswagen bolt, and here's the end that I made. And it's very simply what I did was, I lopped, there's a solid steel section in here, I just lopped that off right there. Then I drilled it out, I drilled through it, and was able to knock it out into the center, and it fell out. Then I used my angle grinder with a cutting disc on it. I slotted that, and then drilled it for the pinch bolt. And here I have my very own double pinch Volkswagen Universal. Go. That's good. There's our steering rack. Here's our Jetta steering rack with Jaguar tie rod ends. Take out the faux shock strut. Come on. Ding dong dell, pussies down the well. Please. Oh, where'd my 7/8 get off? Well. Gotta go searching for a socket that I just set down a minute ago. Okay. Now, this, we are going to, I happen to know that this ball joint nut is already kind of loose. Pull that off of there. Here, pull out the shock mount with its, as I had mentioned in a different video, with its, these are 3/8 24s, 5/16 24s. They're a standard fine thread. As you can see, this one's pretty beat. These are all going to get replaced with grade 8 hardware. This is the stock Jaguar anti-roll bar mount. It's going to get reused. And this, I don't know if you can see that. It's not even and it's not level. So I have to add a 1/8 inch shim to this to make it level, so that I can apply the shock, and it goes in a straight line up to the top shock mount. He said. Put that over there. Okay. Now, I happen to know that I tightened this one rather more. No, I guess not. So what we'll do here, we'll leave that one on there. Where be my hammer at? The trick that my friend Adam Frost showed me. Come on. Come on, you. There it is. One bangs on the side of the... One does bang on the side of the ball joint boss, and the vibrations loosen the taper. You don't have to do anything crazy like smash the rubber bellows with a pickle fork and tear the rubber bellows, which saves my new ball joints. Okay, let's take the whole thing off of here. Hold onto it with a hand because that's a thing we can do. There. Undo the nut. And off we go. There's the spindle, lower control arm. I happen to know that these, ouch. I happen to know that hitting yourself in the head with the handle of the jack is painful. Ouch. Got the glove, not my finger. All this hardware you see here, all this lovely zinc-plated half-inch hardware is going to get replaced by grade 8 stuff. Fantastic and ever wonderful Prothane bushings for the lower control arm. There's that, and then this guy here, I'm just going to undo these bolts that hold the whole thing on and take that off right now. Of course, that's 11/16. Go. Ouch. Yay. Ha 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 ha. Go. Boom. My two 1/8" shims. Oh, that have rusted nicely, and I'm going to have to, I wish I'll have to paint this control arm here. This is the stock Jag upper control arm. It's in between these two bosses right here. These are what were the drop stops. There were two stops that would keep it from dropping down, because otherwise this ball joint will hit itself and possibly hurt itself. This thing is not going to have drop stops. And what happens is the shocks, the coilovers that go in between here, they hit these things. So these drop stops are going to get cut and ground away, and then we'll see how they fit over the shock coilovers that I have. And if they're still too tight, still too narrow in between here, I'm going to make new control arms, and I might do that anyway because it'll improve the geometry that I want to put on these things. So yeah, there's that. One side down, one to go, and then on to the rear end. Hello again, everybody. Okay, so now I know that I had said that I would show you what a giant pain in the ass it is to get this rear end out with these two welded bars in. You can do it. It takes wiggling and fiddling and twisting it and moving it around. And this rear end is not light. It's, I don't know, it's more than 150 pounds, close to 200 maybe. It's pretty heavy. And the last time I did it, I had my son with me. I had my son Cody with me, helping me slide it in and twist it and worm it through until it got into position. And then, but he's not here, obviously. And I have done it myself, but when I've done it myself, I've had the chassis a lot lower to the ground, so that I can bring in one of my furniture dollies and place it under one end of the axle, so that it's easier to wiggle it and kind of twist it and then slide it out onto the dollies and then roll it right up. But I don't think I'm going to get to do that today. And the reason I'm not going to get to do that today is because I have built the tail section. And with the tail section on there, when it's down low enough to make it comfortable and safe for me to take this thing out on my own, to slide it out this way, I'm not going to be able to get the jack in far enough to get it underneath the rear end to safely jack it up and lower it down. And I've got this. I made this axle lift. This little tool right here, which goes under the differential case, and the fat part sits on here, and the pinion snout sits on here, and I can kind of generally lift it up, kind of level. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to measure and mark these two tubes, and I'm going to cut them out in such a way that I can fix them up later, so that you can lower the rear end out, jack it back up in, bolt the tubes back in to maintain that longitudinal strength that I like so much. So, that's that. I think it's time for dinner, and then I'll start cutting it. Okay, so. Whoopsie, you've got something. Come here, you. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Oops, oh, look at that. I think it might be worthwhile draining the oil out of this thing, maybe. And I can see the drain plug leaking. Oh, not quite well. So it's not leaking on this one. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to mark these tubes, so that I can more easily, so that I have some reference line with which to cut them. I think I want to do it for this one. I'm going to cut it at 2 inches. Right there. This one, scoot up here a bit. I didn't do a bad job welding these things. For this one, we'll cut it at 2.5. And that'll leave enough on the chassis to it's hard to see. Insects on me, don't like that. Okay. Stuck. Help me, help me. So help me. There it is. Here. Here. Get off me. Filthy beggar. And you know, guys don't really need to see this, so I'm going to come out there, I'm going to turn the camera off, and then proceed to continue marking my territory. See what I did there? Well, here we are, ready to go. Got my cardboard laid out. A fresh blade in the reciprocating saw. I'm gonna organize my cardboard. We are committed to it now. Nope, stop that. That's better. There we go. Come on. Looks like we gotta come at it from the other side now. It's looking alright. I'm going to bring the camera over here and we will, I think the saw was binding a little bit due to, saw might have been binding due to heat stress, welding stress. Let's have a go at this one, which has much better access. Ready? Boom! Well now, how about that? That's about what I expected for. And then boom! Look at that. Well, that worked nicely. Here we have the sectioned. Let's drag the camera back so we can see where it happened. What happened? There's one end cut out and there's the other end cut out, and it is surprisingly, oh, it's not too bad. Let's see. Oh, there's a oh, because it's wrong, isn't it? Looks like that. There we go. Oh. Oops, where is it this way? Oh, it's this way. Look at that. Yeah, we're going to have a nice fit. I'm going to be able to just sand the end, dress the ends of the tube, and add some bolt flanges, slide it in there, drill some bolt holes on here and on here, and I think we'll be in good shape. So let me cut out the other side and then we'll see about dropping this axle out of here, said the disembodied voice. Okay, so we made some cuts and it seemed to work out pretty well. Let's take a look. We've cut out the driver's side, cut out the passenger side. The last thing we have to do is get the jack under there and drop the rear end out. Let's make that happen, shall we? Okay, I've got the jack. It's a little hard to see. There, right there, between those tubes, you can see my little lifting block I've got in place, and I've got the pad of the jack sort of biased towards the rear of the differential housing because it tends to be a little tail heavy, or so has been my experience. The shocks are disconnected from the trailing arms. They don't necessarily need to be. Disconnected from the chassis. Let's undo the bolts. For you. This thing leaks, so we take it off the hose. Hook it up. And down we go. Now, because those bolts, there it is. Right on there. Let's see if we can wiggle this thing over to the. Oops. Well. Oh well. It came out. Not quite what I was hoping. Whoops, where are you? Oh, there we are. Not quite what I was hoping for, but there it is. Trust me, that was about 40,000 times easier than the last time I took it out. Yeah. Okay, so keep that out of the way. Let's. And the Jaguar end is on the floor. Cool. That was easy peasy as things go. So, there it is. And I'm going to wind up putting it on the dolly and rolling it around, but we're done for tonight. So, the next time that you see this chassis, it will most likely be upside down. And that's it for this episode of Jag Time in Robb's Garage! Boom!